What's going on, everyone? It's Bales, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Trade Talk video ahead of round 14. So we're coming up on probably the two hardest weeks of the season. In most seasons as well. A lot of us are normally quite heavy in round 14 and 15 by players, which is normally that's what happens. Sort of a lot of the popular players are in the round 14 and 15. I don't know why it keeps happening, but it does. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky 2 weeks, but obviously, trade outs are still pretty simple. You're trading out players that are on their buy this week or have got a buy next week, depending on if it's your structure or not. And then you're bringing in players from round 12 or round 13 that are coming off of their buy, unless it's a rookie, which obviously you can see the top two most trading players have got a buy coming up. But we'll chat about them in a sec, and obviously the most trading out players as always. But before we do, if you are watching, make sure you do smash a like on the video. We got close again to 250 last week. We didn't quite hit it though. So if you guys can hit 250 on this video, make sure you smash a like. There's obviously a number of you that do watch the video. So if you are watching right now, it takes 2 seconds. Click like on the video. It helps the channel out. That'd be very much appreciated. And also make sure you do subscribe to the channel. I think we're less than 90 away now from 2,500 subscribers. That's obviously the one next goal to tick off. Obviously the road to 3K. So if you can subscribe and you haven't yet, make sure you do subscribe as well. So let's get stuck in. Billy Dowling, most trading player, 14.3K jumping on him, and yeah, he's obviously the rookie to go to this week. Had a really, really good first game for the Crows last week. Scored 89. Had a big last quarter there to get to that 89. He was on 48 last quarter. I think he had a 41 point last quarter. Negative 18 break even. 247K. There's really not much else to. So I know he's got a bye next week, but it doesn't matter. You just bring him in because rookies, it doesn't really matter if they're missing. Obviously, you can't if you've got 15 next week, or if you've got like hardly any, you probably can't bring him in. But I think you've got to try and make it work if you can. So, and I think most teams aren't that heavy, and especially if you don't care about ranking, if you're just in for league matchups and whatever, then yeah, I'd be definitely getting Billy Dowling there. Nathan Kruger's the next one. He's probably the guy that if you don't have Dowling, you probably go for. The only thing I just don't like, obviously he's got the round fitting buy, but he is 295K, and for trades I want to do next week, I feel like every dollar I save is probably going to be important. So I'm probably not looking to spend 295K on a rookie this week. If no other rookies get named, then obviously he'd probably be the guy I would go for. And I think if you don't have Dowling, Kruger is the guy you probably go for. Probably for me, for my own team, I probably can't get him. But if he's the only rookie there, I'll make it work anyway. But yeah, so if it works for you, I don't mind it. It covers Max Gawn as well this week, so that could be also handy for coaches out there. Errol Goulden, 6.6K jumping on. Yep, looked fantastic last week. Massive score, 151. I knew it was just a matter of time before we did see a ceiling score from Errol. He was everywhere. He's been one of the most consistent mids that we've had this year. Obviously plays huge time on ground. So it's obviously giving him the best opportunity to score as many points as possible, because obviously the more time you're out there, the more points you can score. So, and I don't think he's going to be tagged either. Like, you've got Warner, you've got Heaney, both are more, I would say more damaging, but I still feel like Errol's one of arguably their best player, Errol, just with his ball use. But opposition teams will look at a Warner and a Heaney and go, they're more damaging. So we'll lock them down, which is good for everyone that owns Errol, because it means he can get off the chain each week and score well. So, yep, I'd really like Errol, and if you don't have him, he's a high priority target, I think. Jordan Clark, solid option, 5.7K jumping on him. He's just under 900K. I think he's 891. Low break even of 50. I don't look at the break even too much when you're looking at a player priced at where he is. Like, you're not bringing Jordan Clark in to be a money maker. You're bringing him in to be a top 6 defender, which he's looked every bit of that for most of the year. Last 3 weeks have been big. The only flag that I've got for him is he does have Sydney coming up. And if I wanted to nitpick at Clark, is that his last 3 games have been massive. He's played St Kilda, Collingwood and Melbourne, who are 3 of the easiest matchups for defenders to score against. So you'd hope that he'd cash in. Before that, he was a very, very consistent. So you bring him in. I think he's going to be around the mark of the top 6 anyway. I'm probably looking at him post that James Jordan tag personally. If you don't have Ryan or Clark, you could go one or the other and whatever, and you could double up. But I still open as a target. But at the end of the day, if he scores an 80 this week or a 90, that break-even is going to be back up to 80 or 90. So it's not like he's going to make an obscene amount of cash. He might go up 100K, 150k at most. That's obviously if he keeps pumping out 120s, but I don't know if him and Ryan can keep going at 120s, both of them. Whereas the next guy we'll talk about, Luke Ryan, I think he can still go at 110s each week. 5.2k jumping on him. And don't get me wrong, people are going to say I'm trying to say Clark's not a good pick. I still think Clark is a very, very good pick. I'm probably just talking myself out of not picking him because I'm probably not going to go him this week. So, but no, Jordan Clark, if you want to pick him, great pick. And I think he's still probably a top 5 target this week as well, which I'll go through shortly. Yeah, so there you go. Luke Ryan, love him as a target. Bulldogs this week, good matchup. I know Bulldogs has been a bit sort of hit and miss in terms of matchup this year, but Luke Ryan has been fantastic. Obviously, Jordan Clark's been better in 2 of the last 3 weeks than Ryan, but averaging 137 in his last 3 and 135.6 in his last 5. He's been massive. Obviously, all the 161, 105, 126, 144, 122. So 142. So obviously, again, he's had really good, easy opposition in these games. He's gone big. I just think they've got a very good run as well. And that's probably something I should say with Jordan Clark as well. That besides that Jordan tag, Bulldogs, Gold Coast, Richmond, Hawthorn, Melbourne, West Coast, Essendon's a pretty nice run up until their last few of Geelong. But Geelong aren't too bad as well. Giants and Port. So Freo have got a pretty nice run for defenders. So I like both. I do like Ryan better if you can afford him because he's expensive. He's got to break even at 90. So if he keeps pumping out these 120s, he could be 1.1 million very soon, and it's going to be hard to get him. So if you can do buy time is the perfect time to get a guy like a Luke Ryan, a Zorko, who I'm sure we'll speak about in a sec as well. Perfect time to get these guys in. You've got 3 trades. If you can make it work, they're great. Again, don't break your side. If you've got still a few rookies on field and bringing Luke Ryan in means you're not upgrading these rookies, I wouldn't be doing it. But if you can go like a couple of rookies down and a rookie up or a mid-pricer up and get Ryan in, then I'm all for it. But yeah, don't break your team to be bringing Ryan in. Josh Simpkin, interesting. 5.1k jumping on, 132 last week. His only relevant good score for the year. Like every other score besides that's been pretty bad. Like 56, 48, 47, 80, 62, 40, and 63. Like not great. And then he missed the extra week here just with the quad injury. Then he's come back, played. He normally plays high time on ground. Got a lot of it. Got a lot of marks, tackles. Got a couple of goals there. I like Simpkin as an option. And the reason I like him, he's got a 5 in his price. He's done it before. Break even to 33. It's not like he's 32 or over 30 and he did it before, but he's on the decline. He's still 26. Like, he's still meant to be in his prime. He's the captain of the football club. His CBAs were up last week. And he did have that bad concussion in pre-season. That might have meant he was a bit more hesitant in a few of these games. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be a top 6 forward or anything like that, but as a guy that when we don't have any many rookies at all, a guy you can bring in at 580k that could be close enough to the top 6, and then you can upgrade him in a few weeks. Maybe makes 120k in a few weeks, and you can upgrade him. That's all we need really during these buys. He's had his buy already. Worst case is he's not that great. He's not going to count hopefully for your score anyway, and then you can trade him in round 16 and you can upgrade him. And he's not going to drop any cash. Very, very unlikely anyway. So, yeah, I like Simpkin. Again, there is a little bit of risk to it, but I think it is a bit more low risk during the buys. And, well, best case is he's a top 6 forward, and he averages 90 from here, and he goes quite well. But obviously there is a chance that he doesn't do that, and it's probably more likely he just averages. I think he can go 80 plus average, which is still a good pick at his price. So, yeah, I like the Simpkin pick, especially for guys that like myself that have got... I shouldn't say guys. Coaches that have got a Darcy Wilson, Riley Bonner, some of the Closey, some of these guys that you can't get them all the way up, or maybe you can go rookie down and someone up, but then the third trade you can't really do much else with it. Going a Darcy Wilson to a Simpkin with your third trade's, I think, a good move. A Closey to a Simpkin's a good move, and even a Bonner. So I like the Simpkin pick. I'm a big fan of it. We're not big fan. Probably I'll just temper it a little bit. I'm a fan of the trade, so not big fan, but. Yeah. Zorko, 4,500 jumping on. If there is a week that you're going to try and pay up for someone, it's this week. Zorko has the Saints at the Gabba. We saw what the Saints gave up to Gold Coast last week. They gave up some massive numbers to all of the Gold Coast defenders. I think it was the Gold Coast defenders had the most between the back 6 of all time or something. I think I saw, or one of the top scores of a combined defender 6. But like Flanders, 163, 42 touches, 13 marks. Sexton, 130, 29 touches, 16 marks. Bodie Hewland, 124, 23 touches, 13 marks. Joel Jeffrey, 29 disposals, 12 marks for 120. Sam Collins, 112, 18 touches, 12 marks. And even Charlie Ballard, 23 disposals and 10 marks. Like, it's ridiculous how many marks those defenders had. Zorko, obviously, goes really well with these +6s. And games at the Gabba, he's actually gone quite well. So he scored a 105 against Carlton in opening round at the Gabba. He scored a 102. I believe that Collingwood game was at the Gabba. Melbourne was at the Gabba for a... No, hang on. No, sorry. Geelong was at the Gabba for a 127. And that was quite wet that night from memory as well. He still took 8 marks. He kicked a couple of goals there. Gold Coast at the Gabba, obviously, 184. Obviously, probably a bit of an outlier with that game, but still he's got the ceiling. Had a massive score there, 148 against Richmond. So he's been massive at the Gabba. I think his average is like 135 or something like that at the Gabba this year. So really, really big average there. Plays Friday night, perfect VC. Yeah, if you can afford him and bring him in, I think this is a great week to do it. We always talk about that sugar hit for these players, and there's no bigger sugar hit, I don't think, in the game at the moment than St Kilda, and Zorko could really, hopefully, for all his owners out there, can cash in this week. So what do we got here? So we've got Caleb Sarong next, 2.8k. Yep, great option. Again, not putting up these massive ceiling scores, but he's just consistent, gets it done, scores hundreds essentially every week. From round 6 onwards, I know he's only had one score over 107, but just getting hundreds. When we've had these midfielders dropping really, really poor scores, when you can get a guy that is just putting up hundreds, great. And he's got the ceiling as well. He's shown he can have games where he has a lot of tackles. He's had a few games where he can get 6 or 7 marks. If he can put it all together, he can put ceiling scores out, gets all of the ball. I talked about that run after. Pretty nice run post the bye. So I really like Sarong as an option, one of the safest options going around, until he's not really, because all the midfielders are showing that they'll just put up a stinky score and then they're not as good. But I like Sarong as an option. Zach Fisher, if you didn't jump on him yet, still love him. 500s in a row. He's obviously solidified himself as a top 6 defender. Even when McCurch comes back, he'll be back there, but Sheasel's not going back there. So, yeah, look, his last 3 scores over 112. Was cramping in the game, so I wouldn't be too worried with the injured tag on his last game. He's all good. He'll be fine. So, yeah, I love it. He's got Collingwood this week. Could cash in with another good matchup there as well. Then he's got Melbourne. So, 2 really good matchups to come and could put up some big scores there. And Lockie Whitfield rounds out the 10 most traded in, I believe, if I've got my numbers correctly. Yep, Whitfield number 10. 2.4k jumping on. I'm not as big of a fan of bringing him in. I've got him, and I hope that he can go well, but I'm not as confident he does. So, his next 2 matchups, he's got Port and Sydney. They are both at Giant Stadium. So obviously that's good with the stadium, but the opponents, McEntee could go to him, and then you could see I think James John will go to him again, like he did the first time and did a really good job. I just don't see big scores. Hopefully we can get some 80s or 90s from the next 2 weeks, and then the run starts to open up a little bit more after that. But yeah, I wouldn't be trading him in. You're not going to get that sugar hit, I don't think. I know he went well last week, and people are going to look at that 123 and go, oh, Whitfield, he had a bad game there, but he's been pretty good outside that, and he has. I wouldn't be targeting him for the next couple of weeks, personally. He's cheap, but I'd be waiting, personally. A few other options here as well. Lachie Neale, I'm not as keen on. I know he went really well last week, and he looked good. I'll just look at his next 3, and I think there's 3 tags there. Winhager, Willem Drew, and we saw Neil Bullen go to Dacos on King's birthday. So, and I think Neil Bullen could go to a Lachie Neale in this game. So I would be sort of not getting Neale. I know he went well, but I wouldn't be doing that. Peatling is solid, is another option. Him versus Simpkin is the interesting debate this week. I think with Josh Kelly a week away, I'm a bit more nervous with a guy like James Peatling, bringing him in. I think Giants have got a few guys nearing their return as well. If I go to the Giants injury list here, Lockie Ash is a couple of weeks away. Jack Buckley's a test. Cogs is 1 to 3 weeks away, so it's not like he's like a heap away. Coming as well to test there. You got Josh Kelly's to test, so Josh Kelly could even be back this week. So that would be interesting if he's back this week. Then you got Adam Kennedy. He's even a week away. They do like Adam Kennedy, so he'll probably have some games in the VFL, but he could come in at any point as well. So there are a few guys, and then obviously I didn't say Perryman as well, is only 2 weeks away. So it's a very short term play. Like at least Simpkin could be a month. I think Peatling might only be 1 or 2 weeks. So again, I think it's a little bit risky. If you've got him, great. You can ride him for a few weeks, but I worry that he could be out of the team in a couple of weeks, so I wouldn't. Will Day, got the bye next week. I wouldn't worry about it. He's looked really good. I've been quite impressed with him, but I wouldn't be getting him before his bye. And then obviously Heaney is a great option as well if you don't have him. Hopefully a Sean Maker makes his debut, a Jed Buslinger, hopefully one of those guys. I'm looking at bringing in potentially a Buslinger because there's a chance he comes in with a few of those injuries back there. He seems like the next man up from what I'm hearing. So he's probably gone looking at. McMullen plays the final game unless we got confirmation that he wasn't going to be the sub before the game, which is highly unlikely. I wouldn't be looking at him. And I think Revel was too expensive, and I think Morris is just not going to put up the scores, paying over 300k for him. So, yeah, moving to the most traded out players here. A lot of them are pretty self-explanatory, so this will be pretty quick. So Closey, yep, time to go. I was on bye this week, perfect week to get rid of him. Oliver, yeah, I think Oliver can go. Nearly 11k jumping off. He just hasn't been that guy we've wanted. He's 106, 99, 94 were great, but then 85, 86, 67. So, but then again, he's not a must trade. I think he's a good trade out. But, yeah, the only thing probably that I look at as a positive, he played 83% game time, which I haven't heard actually anyone speak about yet. His game time was up on the weekend. Yes, Petrarch was out, so that's probably why. His tackle numbers were surprisingly down from what he's been doing. He's been, like before that, 8, 8, 5, and 7. It actually was his touches that were down. So his touches were back up. He looked better in the second half, just the tackles and the marks weren't there. He's got North and West Coast after the bye. The Brisbane game could be a bit tricky, but I think it's team dependent with him. If you don't have many issues and he can go, yep, if you can go him to Goulden or someone, I tick that off as Sarong every day of the week. But he doesn't have to go, I don't think. Because we do have a Rosie potentially in a couple of weeks that we could go Oliver him. So, yeah. But I guess the positive maybe that the week off is obviously you have the week off and then hopefully he'll go well after that. But yeah, team dependent for him. Wilson, 100% can go. 34 last week. There's a chance that they rest him and he's not in the team this week, just with how poor that he played. But I think he'll hold his spot. But it's time to go. His break-even's over 100 now. He's going to start leaking cash. I'd almost rather get rid of him this week and have a less number than keep him. Obviously, if you've only got 19, you're not trading Wilson. You'd probably rather have the 20. But for those coaches that have got 21... or 20, I'd be happy to trade Wilson anyway if you've still got that. So, yep, he can go. Riley Bonner can go. He leaked a lot of cash. Break-even's like 141 or something. Yeah, 141, that's way too high. If he drops another 30, he's going down. He's going down over nearly 50k if he drops to 70. So, yeah, he's got to go. Yeah, it's just without shadow of a doubt, he's definitely got to go. The only thing that would make me hold Bonner, to be honest, would be something like if an Asai Wanganeen Miller or a Sinclair were out. That would potentially make me hold him, but the only way they're going to be out is if they're sick or they're injured, which is highly unlikely. So, yep, they can both go. And then the guys on bye. Took, yep, can go. He's just not going to be a top 8 mid. Bit like Oliver, team dependent. He was he was solid enough outside of that 47. I still can't believe you got tagged. You tag Anderson, you don't tag Took. Besides that, he's been solid enough. Again, a little bit like Oliver, team dependent, but if he can go, he's got a decent 3-game stretch after anyway, but yeah, I think he can go. Ollie Dempsey, yep, rookie on bye can go. Reed obviously won't play this week or next week, so he can go. Will Graham can go. Jai Clark, I'd almost hold Jai Clark. You probably can't do a huge amount with going him down 3-7-1. Still got to break him to 24. I thought he played quite well against Sydney. I thought his third quarter was really good as well. So yeah, I'd probably hold Jai Clark if you can. He probably could be handy next week for you. Obviously, Walsh wouldn't be trading. He's on bye, but people probably just sideways preens, but I wouldn't be trading. Garcia can go. I don't think he plays, but if he does play, you obviously hold. McRae can go. Yep, not going to be a top 6 forward, so he can go. Petrarca, obviously, unfortunately, has to go. Unfortunately, he went to hospital and had to have surgery. Hopefully, a quick recovery for him, but he's unfortunately got to go, and he's down at a pretty cheap price now that you're not really going to be able to do, like 7.72. You've probably got to look at a Tom Green or someone like that. It's a straight swap to Rosie, but Rosie's got such high break-even. You probably want to try and go him up to a Goulden or Sarong if you can. But yeah, so Petrarca, yes, unfortunately got to go. Richards can go as well. He's got the bye next week, but I'm still holding just because he's got that negative 20 break-even. I think he'll come back into the team when he's back because I think he played that well. And I think I'm pretty sure he should. I'd love if I haven't actually looked at the Collingwood injury part, but if he was like a test this week, I'd love it if he came back. But he'll be out this week, I imagine. Then he'll be back after the bye. Joe Richards 2 weeks away. So yeah, so Richards should be back post their bye, and hopefully can make some good cash post the bye. So I'm still a fan of holding in my own team. Kane McCauliffe, I wouldn't be trading. Presti is out. I think he'll come into the 22 and play. So I wouldn't be trading him there. Rao, I guess Rao can go. I didn't realize he was owned by a few people, but 850k. He's been solid, averaging 98. Like, not too bad. Like, he had the 51 here, which is bad, and then the 75. But besides that, he's been pretty much a 90 player for most of the year. But yeah, he can go. It's almost a straight swap him to LDU. I'd do that trade. I'd be happy to do that. You could even just go slightly up and get a Goulden or Sarong, and that's a good trade. And yeah, these other guys, Darcy Jones can go, House can go. Yeah, you're not trading Max Gawn. You're not trading Nick Martin. Obviously, those people just sideways swapping these premiums. You're not trading Gawn, who's averaging 121, and Mick Martin, who's averaging 109. Even league matchups, you're definitely keeping, and you're not trading anyway, but a few people are. So hopefully, if you're not, and you're sort of playing the smart game, I guess, then hopefully you can make ground up on those coaches that are doing the sideways switching of premiums. So my top 5 targets of the week, Billy Down's got to be number 1, just because he's the one rookie that we've got, negative 18 break even. He's got the bye next week, I know, but I think he's just important this week for a lot of teams. So he's going to be number 1 if you didn't jump on him. Number 2, I would go with... I think I've got to go Zorko for the matchup. I think Zorko's number 2 because of the St Kilda matchup, because he'll be a VC for you. It's just, if he goes 150, you're missing out on a big amount of points that his owners are that have got. So I think if you don't have Zorko, I'd be trying to get him this week. Number 3, I'd go Errol, just because of how good he looked. He's so consistent, plays high time on ground. I'm just a big fan of Errol. Number 4, I'd probably put Luke Ryan, I think, just ahead of Sarong at number 4, and then Sarong number 5. But there are a few good options this week if you don't have some of these guys. Like Ryan, obviously we obviously know he's just really, really good. Dogs this week, good run to come, and then obviously Sarong's just super consistent. But again, I do like Jordan. Like Jordan Clark, I thought might have made the top 5, but he's really good. I still think he's a pretty good option. So Jordan Clark's a great option. Simpkin for those coaches I think is a solid enough option as well. Fisher's a good option still. Heaney's a good option if you don't have him. So like there are a few good options that we've got this week that are coming off the bye. So it is very, very hard to give a top 5, but I guess that'd be my top 5. Yeah. So Dowling, Zorko, Errol, Luke Ryan, Sarong are probably my 5. But yeah, my trades this week, I really don't still have a good grasp of what I'm going to do. I've had a lot of different combos and scenarios of what I'm doing. I think I've currently got Closey down to Buslinger, because I expect him to play with Alex Keith out and Gardner's out, so I expect him to come in and play. I know he's got the bye next week, but he's 200k. It'll help with the cash for future weeks. So yeah, Closey down to him. Darcy Wilson to Jai Simpkin. So tiny cash grab, but Simpkin's already had the bye. I think he's going to make a bit of cash and he looks pretty good. And then I'll be going... it doesn't feel great, but at the moment I've got Riley Bonner to Tom Green. And people are going to be... And I've seen people's comments the last few videos as well. Have said, this is why we're saying don't get Tom Green. He hasn't looked that great. The reason I'm getting Tom Green is because he's got to turn it around at some point. He was 110 last year. He started the year on fire. He had the ankle injury, but I think it's a matter of time before he gets back to form. But I'm more bringing him in because it allows me to get Zach Merritt next week, which I've got. I still got a Frazier / whoever F6 rookie. So I've got Heaney in the midfield. I want to put Heaney back in the forward line and go that rookie up to Merritt and get my final rookie off field. So then, if Tom Green's not the issue, Tom Green, Clayton Oliver, Tom Powell, they're probably the three, maybe even a Jai Simpkins, well, those four guys. If they're not the guys, I can trade them out, and it's not a stretch to get them up to the next guy. Like Jai Caldwell's a guy in the forward line I'll probably get for Tom Powell post the buys. Connor Rosie's really cheap in the midfield, so I'm sure that he'll get back to form at some point as well in the next 2-3 weeks. So I can go like an Oliver or Tom Green to him. If worst case scenario, if they don't turn it around, I'm more confident in Tom Green turning it around than Oliver, but I could go Oliver, Rosie. So I've got plans in place, but I just think it's more important to get that final rookie off field. So saving the cash this week and getting Tom Green. I've thought about Sheezel, I've thought about Jordan Clark, I've thought about Josh Dunkley, Zach Butters, a few of these guys. I just do think for my team at the moment, I think saving the cash would be a little bit better for my own team. But again, I've still got a few days to sort of tinker around with the team, see how it's looking. But they're the trades I've currently got as it stands. They could change. We'll have to see. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys are doing with your trades in round 14. Any trade questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll get to those. Apologies, I did miss the questions last week. As I said, wasn't feeling great, and like sort of under the weather a little bit, got the sniffles, and yeah, just a little bit busy as well. So yeah, I'll get to all your answers this week, and all your questions. But yeah, put them in the comments below. If you'd also like to ask me a question on Q, links in the description below, or go to askmeonq.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. Really, really good to help answer your team-dependent questions. You get an audio response, go straight to your email, and you only get the advice. Small fee for that one, but does help support the channel, and also gets more in-depth response for you to your inbox, and more in-depth than what I can give you on a YouTube or on a Twitter or Instagram DM. Like I can do like a 2-minute sort of audio response for you and sort of almost tell you what trades you could do if you want my advice of what trades you want to do or what you're looking at. You can put your team in the chat as well. So yeah, if you want to get amongst that, then make sure you do that. But yeah, if you did enjoy the video, smash a like on the video. 250 likes. Can we hit it for the first time? That'd be fantastic. So make sure if you are watching now, smash a big thumbs up on the video. That'd be very much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel so we can hit 2.5k and then 3k is our 2 big goals. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the pre-lockout chat, usual time of 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. per time. And we'll catch you then to answer all your questions there as well. And check out the Q&A from last night. And all that good stuff. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys then. I think the watch-along will be on Friday night as well this week, because I'll be going to the Crows game on Saturday night. So I'll be doing a watch-along for the Friday night game. So yeah, we will be doing Brisbane versus St Kilda. So looking forward to that as a watch-along. Hopefully better for me than what the Saturday night game was. If you don't know, yeah, the watch-along was yeah, not having Flanders VC was rough watching that. But anyway, we'll move to this week. So anyway, thanks guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on the pre-lockout chat on Friday. So thanks guys, I'm out. Cheers.